Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's Average Joe's custom 4v4 action on the cards today. I'm excited, but then I'm always excited, as you guys well know. First of all, quick message coming in from Speed 2, and I have actually promoted it before, but he wants me to do it again because he's nothing if not consistent. And he would like to remind everybody about the FAF dev blog. Of course, you know what a dev blog is. Keep you up to date, informed about all of the information coming forth from the devs to do with FAF. And if I go across to the other monitor here, we can take a look. This is what it looks like, and you can see it's got the last post there was on the 19th, so that was a couple of days ago, which is good stuff. It's updated regularly, which is always nice to see. Talk about old maps while they've been removed there. Let's just say you're ugly and if you have an ugly girlfriend. Very highbrow stuff, as you can see. They love to inject a little bit of humor in there. Lots of stuff has been happening the last couple of days, so let's try to get all those. So it's a riveting read, but don't let that put you off. It's got lots of important information, complete with memes of Boromir. We're this close to fixing cop. So that's what Speed 2 is probably excited about. Him, of course, being the king of co-op. So yes, if you have a question relating to the development of FAF, rather than bugging a dev with it, why not check here first? Because it's always good to check beforehand. And while we're on that subject, why not check replays for desyncs? See how I got that in there? That's good. A little bit of self-help injected into the promotion. Very self-serving indeed. Anyway, there you go. You get the idea. URL at the top there. But if you need it, if you need me to hold your hand, just yell and I'll put it in the description below this video. I might do that anyway. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's get on with today's action. As we said, it was going to be a custom 3... No, we didn't. We said it would be a custom 4v4, excuse me. It's going to be Average Joe's, and that action is going to take place on Stella Maris version 8. You guys are ready, the players are ready, and I'm sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Alrighty, and of course it's one of those maps where the user interface is a little bit behind times, and for some reason believes that this is Team 1 down here at the bottom, and this is Team 2 up here at the top. Going first for Team 1, down here at the bottom right, it's Captain Earl Grey, but he's not feeling grey today. He's going mellow yellow, he's going Aeon, and he's opening first land. Next up to his left, it's none other than my good friend GFY's Depony. He's going UEF, opening first land in Ferrari red. Up to the headland, team member number 3, we have Witty Seal, and he's going Seraphim in Cyanide Scion, so all of the S's and the soft C's in place today. Opening first land, and last but not least, down here at the bottom left in Regal Purple, we have Naquilich, who's also going Aeon, opening first land. So 2 Aeon, a UEF, and a FIM there for Team 1. Up here at the top for Team 2, first of all, we have Zeljana, who's going Breast Cancer Awareness Pink, a UEF, opening first land. Zeljana just sounds like a girl. Now, I've been wrong consistently in the past. Apologies, of course, to Olex. I called him a girl for at least a year, something like that. And I may well be doing it wrong again, but it just seems like a girl. So if I refer to her as a her, I'm sure you won't hold it against me, because that would be gross. Alright, there we go. That's team member number 1 for Team 2. Team member number 2, next to her, another UEF, very good decision, in Baby Blue, opening first land. It's NV650056, or NV, as we shall be referring to him for obvious reasons. Up to the headland, we have Tyrannus, also going UEF. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Going Lurid Green, opening first land. And last but not least, up here at the top right, well, there's always one, isn't there? In fact, when it comes to Sopcom, there's usually 8. God King Xerxes misclicking and going Cybren, but one is better than 8 and certainly makes a change from the direction of travel that we've been used to seeing of late. He's opened first land, going second and third air there in Pontiff White, and queuing up a naval yard while he's at it as well. Game quality at 90% between these two teams. We've got 2 1600 rated players, 1 on each team. That's Naquilich down here and God King Xerxes up here at the top right. and everybody else is sub 1500, sub pro level. So although we've got a couple of pros in there, the majority are definitely in Joe category. Not that it means that much lately. The standard over the last few years has definitely increased. Hopefully that this replay will illustrate that. But the engineers busying about their business. We've already got a frigate heading out up the western edge of the map there for Nequilich. We've also got a scout plane out there for the God King Xerxes as well, heading straight down to the bottom right. Going to get intel on Earl Grey and Toponi before presumably heading on to the others as well. But the main action at the start of this one is going to be with this frigate heading up potentially for an early deny. If he can get in here, well, he's not going to be able to stop the ACU, but he can put a bit of damage down on the naval yards. Certainly. Has he spotted a drop of the engineer? Yes, he has, and that is going to be pretty annoying indeed. He's going to work on a was that a governor wreck there? I don't know the difference on wrecks between a governor and a Valiant, but either a destroyer, UEF destroyer, or a cruiser that won't get reclaimed just yet. Zeljana comes in to counter the frigate with a T1 bomber. Nequilich, paying attention, is going to micro, forces the bomber to miss the second bombing run. And now we have a Sylph coming in now as well. So Nequilich going for some very heavy early naval pressure, already working on his third naval yard with the ACU quite far north up there. So a lot of naval pressure heading north from Nequilich. That bomber for Zeljana, shot down by Witty Seal and an invading interceptor. But Zeljana's defending interceptor will take care of that, and a second T1 bomber now out for NV as well. Another transport inbound with engineers coming over the top. Will Nequilich be paying attention to this as well? I think he might be. The question is, will Zeljana decide to drop or not? Hovering overhead for the moment. He's going to redirect back up to the mainland. I think that was probably a sensible decision. We now have a Tiger Shark in the water there for Zeljan, so first naval unit in place for her. And going straight to work on one of these Sylphs with the second submarine. The Sylph will go down, but the Tiger Shark, or second Tiger Shark, should be destroyed in the next exchange. We'll actually know, and that gives a 2 submarine advantage against a frigate which is already heavily damaged, down to 35 hit points, and that goes down, and the mass pump survives with just 5 hit points on board up here. So very, very lucky mass point operator on board in there for Zeljana. Another mass point operator not so lucky, as a second frigate comes in and wipes that out. Zeljana just not able to get control of this island. We're now up to 4 naval yards, a 5th one being worked on now for Nequilich, and a 6th under construction. Compare that to everywhere else. Well, very heavy naval setup as well coming out of God King Xerxes. 4 Cybran naval yards online, a 5th on the way. Compare that to what we've got going on down here. A similar setup, in fact, to Team 2's opposition up at the top left-hand corner. We've got 2 T1 factories there, but Toponi already at Tech 2 and working on, is that a Cooper or a shield boat? Actually looks a bit like a shield boat there. Interesting stuff. Early shield boat rather than an early destroyer out for Toponi. Lots and lots of naval units online. I thought we were going to get a drop from Witty Seal there, but instead of going aggressively with it, he was just dropping off the engineers into the channel. And they are going to start work on some naval yards. Quite a lot of them, so lots and lots and lots of naval yards going online very quickly indeed. And we've got a commander drop happening somewhere. Can we see where it's going? It seems to be coming this way, so this looks like it might be an invasion happening now from Tyrannus, heading straight over in the direction of Witty Seal. Major anti-air online already. And a couple of engineers on board as well. In come some interceptors for Witty Seal. Starlifter tanks that very easily indeed. And I don't think they were engineers, in fact. I think they were actually shoulder drones. You can see he's got the shoulder drone upgrade there. He's not at Tech 3. Drops a little bit too early for that. Just 8 minutes or 8.5 minutes gone in this game so far. But he has got Tech 2 and he's got the Zeph amp on board as well. So it's quite a beefy chap we've got here for Tyrannus. 3 Tech 1 point defenses online already. Build capacity for Witty Seal trying to counter with point defense of its own, but the PD gets destroyed and so do all the engineers, and of course the shoulder drones make a huge impact on the build capacity for the commander there, but they get taken out nice and easily by interceptors. In comes a T1 bomber from Depony going straight after the point defense from Tyrannus. Witty Seal down to 6,000 hit points already. He's going to back out. He has got the T2 upgrade on the comm and he's going to start working on some Tech 2 point defense. Tyrannus switches up to rail guns now that he's got a few T1 PDs online. Wants to defend against the air threat from Depony that's coming in pretty consistently right now. Both of the core factories, meanwhile, there for Witty Seal are taken out. But we do now have a Tech 2 point defense online as well. Tyrannus eating some point defense fire before strolling out of range. And now surely the emplacements will succumb to that that T2 PD as well. In come more Tech 1 bombers for Depony, a relentless stream going after the emplacements, and they won't be shot down now thanks to the T2 PD from Witty Seal taking out the last railgun. Excuse me, there is just one more railgun remaining. Tyrannus gets a land factory online, but there's now a lot of naval pressure in the channel. This might be unsustainable for Tyrannus. And you can see bit by bit units and build capacity and bombers all heading up towards converging on Tyrannus' position. I think Tyrannus has decided he doesn't like this. In comes the Starlifter once again, potentially for an evac. Zeljana providing air cover with her interceptors, should be able to keep the skies clear. Witty Seal bearing down on Tyrannus as well. Will want to try and kill off the transport. Won't want Tyrannus to evac if at all possible. Tyrannus loads up onto the transport and overcharge though into the side of the Starlifter. Kills the transport and Tyrannus is dropped to the deck and implodes on impact. So suddenly what looked like a pretty promising comm drop there from Team 2 completely falls on its face, and Team 2 find themselves a man down as they head into the 11th minute in this one. Witty Seal, though, has been badly damaged by that attack. It's going to take him a while to get his base back up and in working order so they can find some consolation there at least. Meanwhile, over at the bottom right-hand corner, the God King Xerxes has decided to engage with his naval units. It looks like he's got the better of Captain Earl Grey. However, we do have a shield boat online for Depony. Depony's also working now on a cruiser, coming back in with another cruiser. So it's a pity that wasn't a destroyer that was about to complete. That would have definitely given him the edge. But he's got one torpedo launcher online and a second on the way as well. And with the introduction of frigates coming in from the west there from Witty Seal, having ousted Tyrannus, that will represent the end of that attack for the God King Xerxes. Meanwhile, Niquilich going straight after Xerxes with his units. Pressure has dissipated on the west, but another transport laden with a commander inbound from Zeljana. This could be why we've seen such a heavy UEF presence in this one. This was perhaps always the plan. Lots of drops going on these days. I'm absolutely loving it. And the Niquilich relatively undefended as Zeljana touches down in the main base. Core mass in danger here as an anti-air turret goes down and then a T1 PD. And that looks like it could be the end for Nikolich's base. He's also under very heavy Tiger Shark attack as well. Lots of submarines rolling into the bay. Nikolich's navy absent as he's going after the God King Xerxes, and it doesn't look like he's making any ground there either because of the introduction of a Salem there. So things suddenly taking a massive dip there for Team 1. The T2 Naval Yard is being primaried by the Tiger Sharks. That HQ down to around 6,000 hit points, but just a look at the damage Zeljana has inflicted, who's now working on a Ravager as well. So that commander up to Tech 3. And that Ravager will be allowed to complete. So now we take a look at the range on that. All of those factories just off the shoreline there are in range. And of course the T2 HQ is the primary target, and that will be destroyed just moments before a destroyer or a cruiser, hard to tell, was due to be completed. Witty Seal returns with his naval forces, has got a cruiser in place, but Zeljana has already set up shield coverage and some buzz kills. So cruise missiles not looking like they're going to make any major impact on this. Zeljana has completely ousted Nikolich, who's picked up his commander and is going to drop him off over here. That commander completely upgraded would have stood no chance against Zeljana trying to take that base back. So Zeljana now effectively sitting on 2.5 bases as she takes over what's left there of Tyrannus' old base. But we've had a engineer drop from the Quilich on that headland, and they are going to manage, I think, well, I say that, look at the pace at which that's being built, and not only that, Zeljana's reclaiming it at the same time. So very little left to spare for Nikolic in terms of eco. No power left at all. Bottlenecked incredibly quickly, but engineers will come in and reclaim that one engineer. But there is a T1 PD that's going to go online, and that will spoil things for Nikolic. He's going to have to move further off and try and get some point defense online further out. Nikolic with now just one naval yard remaining. God King Xerxes left his own devices up here at the top right, branching out on the mass extractors further to the west, and a small T1 point defense creep will hold the area, I think, for Zeljana. Nikolic going to be successful, I think, at capping at least one T2 mechs, maybe, although the capacity en route to rectify that now as we speak. And a TAC missile battery online, and TAC missiles in the air. 4 kills in place for that already. That base has sprung up incredibly quickly. We are not sped up in any way. We are at neutral time signature in this game. And Witty Seal is going to throw down some tactical missile defense to try and stop the TAC missile battery from scoring any more kills against him. Excuse the Facebook ping in the background there. And now Zeljana working on a T3 power plant. You really check how little development has taken place in the main base there for Zeljana. Looks like it's the new base of operations. And Nikolic, who's suffering with eco issues as it is, now under TAC missile attack, is going to lose a T1 mechs right on the cusp of it being upgraded. It's one of those very painful scenarios indeed. Not a huge amount going on over here for Deponi, but let's take a look at the eco side of things. So the God King Xerxes out in front, as you would expect when looking at the amount of mass he's got under his control. He's out in front on, well, it was about 124 a minute ago, but that seems to have dropped, so that might have been reclaim related. So it actually looks like Earl Grey out in front on 132. And Deponi suddenly jumps to 126 as well. So it's between Earl Grey, Xerxes, and Deponi for the top spot on eco. Everybody else is sub 100 mass. In terms of Team 1 actually has the edge in total mass accrued, 196k to 188 there. Cruisers for Deponi, finishing off the last structures on that side island for God King Xerxes. Governor spam, always difficult to contend with. But now we could be seeing a naval push coming out from Xerxes as he tries to shoo these cruisers away. Of course, we do have a shield boat and a destroyer in place down here as well. In fact, a couple of destroyers for Deponi. Lots of T1 naval yards being queued up along the fringe of the map there. And now Envy's heading south with some destroyers as well. And going after Witty Seal's T2 vessels. Going to take down the destroyer, and the cruiser is going to run for its life. And Zeljana completes the fusion reactor and immediately goes to work on a Fat Boy. So that could be the first experimental we see emerge in this game, of which we've had 19 minutes so far. McQuillich still on just 15 generated mass per tick. He's got a long way to go to re-establish himself in this game. Witty Seal, who of course under pressure early on from Tyrannus, is just on 66, but Envy, who is of course the bottom rated player in this, is having issues of his own keeping up with everybody. He's on 61, but you gotta say, you like where Team 2 are sitting right now. I think it's going to be too much of a factor losing the 1200 rated player and retaining the 1000 rated player, but a strap bomber out now for Earl Grey. So he's transitioned to Tech 3 Air, goes straight after Zeljana's main base, picks off a T2 mass extractor from the core mass and inflicts a little bit of collateral damage on the build capacity around it as well. Now, where are we going to see the next attack? There it is. There goes another T2 mass extractor. Zeljana drops below 100 generated mass. Are we going to see a stop command? No, he's going to come in for another attack. We've lost one of the T2 P-gens as well. Of course, Zeljana now with an operational T3. Won't worry about that, but it's another huge bomb there from Earl Grey on that strap bomber. Another core mass down. Zeljana drops to 89. And instead, he's going to go on the offensive down here with the broadswords going straight after Witty Seal's commander. He's running screen with the interceptors, and still that shocker is going. 33 kills to its name. Another core mass destroyed. Will it get the last one before it gets shot down? Well, yes, it will, because it's not in any danger. It's had so much rank in veterancy, and Deponi is at T3 Air as well, and 22 kills on board that shocker. So suddenly the skies look perilous for Team 2. That main base being brutalized by those strap bombers. Meanwhile, the broadsword's getting good work done against the Quilich, who's lost another factory. Where is he left with his comm? Well, he's evac'd right over to Deponi and Earl Grey's main base in the bottom right-hand corner. Lots of exchange of fire between interceptors and Earl Grey. Earl Grey has gone T3 air in a big way and has a lot of ASFs out, and they will make short work of the God King Xerxes interceptors. Meanwhile, the Shockers still running rampant up here for Deponi and Earl Grey. 37 kills now on Earl Grey's Strat Bomber, and having killed off most of the eco there for Zeljana, they now go to work on Envy's main base as well. Gotta want to kill that T2 Gen as well, because why not? But Zeljana has managed to complete the Fat Boy and is rolling it out against Witty Seal in the center, who's also taking fire from the channel now as Envy moves in with a couple of Valiants and a Governor. That looks like the end of Witty Seal's base on the headland. It is in absolute flux, this game. Deponi is looking somewhere else as the Shocker momentarily pauses above Xerxes' base. Still just 24 kills on board that. 43 now on board that Strat Bomber for Earl Grey. This is absolutely glorious. There goes another T2 Mex for Zeljana, who's dropped to just 77. But still managing to get good work done on the ground, as indeed following that Fat Boy with the ACU that now has the personal shield gen, has swapped out the upgrade that was on there previously. And is building mass extractors as quickly as they are neutralized. Pretty sure those Strat Bombers have finally been taken care of. God King Xerxes with a pretty significant fleet. A lot of it is Tech 1 though. Has got a couple of Sirens in there and about 4 or 5 Salems. I think it's a comparable setup to what we've got down here. Perhaps mildly more T2 units there for Team 1 over on that eastern edge of the screen. What a very bizarre game this has been. Zeljana, desperate to keep that Fat Boy alive, is going to throw down some flayers. 3 of them spammed up nice and quickly. Lots and lots of railguns being thrown up at the back of the base there for Zeljana. Doesn't want to get hit by any more Strat Bombers, thank you very much, but look at the amount of Tech 1 bombers that Deponi has spat out. It's also half done on a Fat Boy of his own, but those Tech 1 bombers built with one purpose in mind, and that is to eliminate the threat from this Fat Boy, which is slowly but surely moving east bit by bit. Witty Seal with no base to speak of whatsoever. It's only income the mass generated by his suit. Now sitting out east of his old base. Has a lot of gunships online. I think they must have been transferred over. Indeed, they are all Spectres, so they've been gifted over from Earl Grey to his control. Just waiting for the right timing to go after the Fat Boy. Couple more flayers online further to the east, but they reckon they've got enough breathing room here to go after the experimental. First few volleys out from the flayers take out a huge number of Tech 1 bombers on that first pass. In come the gunships though, and wisely Zeljana is going to turn around, but the shield has already been destroyed. Zeljana gets to work on flak to try and counter the gunships. In come another round of T1 bombers and the second bombing run from the first round of T1 bombers there for Deponi, and that will be the end of the Fat Boy. A very clinical hit there from Team 1, and although they're likely to lose the rest of those gunships if they stick around, they will be happy with the exchange. And what's good as well for them is the fact that Deponi has now completed his Fat Boy and will be able to turn back the tide. Zeljana did get a Ravager online on that island in the center of that pond there, but that is going to be easily taken care with by the artillery on board the Fat Boy. And now this whole position will become untenable for Zeljana, who looks like already thinking about moving back west. In terms of map control so far, all of the momentum has been with Team 2. And Team 2 have actually pulled ahead in total mass accrued, 392 to 377 in favor there of Team 2. Initiative on the ground, though, turning back towards Team 1 as Deponi pushes forward, still producing a lot of T1 bombers, unless they are the ones that survived from the initial attack. I don't think they are. That is just a hangover from previous production runs. Now, whether or not Witty Seal gets re-established remains to be seen. Nequilic, of course, still online. All 4 players still in this for Team 1. Could yet be a threat. And what was harsh about the timing of the Fat Boy is it meant that Zeljana couldn't stick around to reclaim her own wreck. And that could be a lot of mass that now gets transferred over to the coffers of Team 1 as the 2 fleets from Team 1 and 2 merge over in the east. Got King Xerxes doing his level best to fend off what is looking like a very nasty group of units from both Earl Grey and Deponi. Lots of Exodus class destroyers with intermittent shield coverage from Deponi's shield boats. And not a lot of room to maneuver as well, which is when the Aeon destroyers excel. You can't really micro away from them. A second Fat Boy online for Deponi. Are looking pretty strong down in that bottom right hand corner for the time being. Witty Seal completes the reclaim on the Fat Boy wreck and has filled up the coffers somewhat. It must have been pretty badly damaged. Tech 1 bombers from Deponi in part getting some bombs away. They will take down the shield gen and will almost take down the clink hammer as well, but that will survive on around 400 hit points. Why is that important? Well, it's the one thing. Zeljana's got the one weapon that can fire back at that Fat Boy, but there's no way he's going to win that exchange no matter how many shield gens he throws up, unless he can get more artillery online. A TAC missile battery might help, though, and that has helped take down the shield on the Fat Boy. Zeljana has played astonishingly well in this one so far. Witty Seal pushing the threshold, though, helping the Fat Boy deplete the shield. Then focusing on the commander. The clink hammer goes down and Zeljana will surely have to withdraw unless he gets some assistance, or she gets some assistance down here. Evacuation may be the only recourse. That second Fat Boy of Deponi's almost at the front line. Going to be close. In come the Spectres, but there are flayers in play, and you see just how impressive they can be since their adjustment way back when they started to do a little bit of extra AoE to make them useful in some way against hordes of gunships. Zeljana looks like going to make it to the safety of the water. There she goes. Got to be a Smurf, though. Seems to be playing a little too well for 1300. But then, as we said, times are changing. Even the Joes are pretty damn good these days. I'm not sure if the old classifications hold up as well as they used to. Witty Seal strolling very ill-advisedly into the range of some Ravager fire, and Zeljana senses she might get a kill here. Witty Seal down into the yellow, 7,500 hit points remaining. Zeljana, of course, with the personal shield, has 9,000 hit points remaining just on the shield, and another 18,000 left on the armor. Witty Seal's going to duck within the shield coverage of the Fat Boy. I think Zeljana should stick with it, might get a Fat Boy kill and an ACU kill here. But there is another Fat Boy, of course, to worry about a little bit further back. But the Fat Boy in the lead has lost its shield coverage. Zeljana needs to be overcharging more regularly. I don't know why she's not. Well, she's lost the energy storage. That's why. Needs to rebuild it. Oh, I could have been wrong. She should have gone back towards the water. Some lovely, lovely micro from Zeljana doing the Stella Maris shuffle. But it's surely not going to be enough. Both Fat Boys now prioritizing the commander, and the shield depleted, the armor falling off, and an overcharge into the body of the lead. Fat Boy takes it out. Zeljana rebuilds the energy storage in the nick of frickin' time, but still has another Fat Boy to worry about. Very low on health indeed. 3,600 hit points left. A strap bomber heading south from Xerxes to try and alleviate the pressure, but it's not looking good. 2,000 hit points left or so. Where is the strap bomber? Well, it's going after Witty Seal instead, and it connects. Witty Seal down to 1,100 hit points. Doesn't kill it off. Zeljana would be begging for the support against the Fat Boy, which is down into the yellow. 2,000 hit points remaining. Where is that strap bomber? Is it anywhere to be seen? There are governors attacking the Fat Boy in the channel from NV, and Depony didn't move. The Fat Boy, and Zeljana, with just 700 hit points remaining, is going to survive or not. In comes Niquillage with the ACU drops, going to land right on up on top, and Control Cases come in a move of pure vitriol. Zeljana out. Niquillage, to be fair, was getting re-established. I'm pretty sure that was a Control K. I didn't see anything hit the transport unless there was some fire coming in from the governor. The GGs go out. Zeljana out. And, well, Zeljana MVP pretty much for this game. And that completely changes the dynamic of this battle. Lots of naval units in play in the center there for Earl Grey, and Depony backing up over here. Witty Seal somehow still alive with 3,000 hit points on board, but a wave of strap bombers in from Xerxes now heading towards Depony. His comm is in the center of his base and very exposed. We do have a nuke launcher in play, but it might not get to be used as Xerxes rolls in against Depony's commander. Just one more decent hit should do it, and Depony goes down at 33 minutes. The nuke launcher won't matter at all. Xerxes, out of nowhere, comes in and snipes Depony, and suddenly the game is turned on its head once again. Oh my god, and most of the Navy originally belonged to Depony as well. So suddenly Xerxes has the advantage in the naval side of things, but that's not going to matter because the strap bombers are still alive. And Earl Grey not even trying to micro out of it. He's just going to sit there and take it like a man. There's one thing that Aeons do well. It's Take It Like a Man. Well, look at that for a surprise result. You wouldn't have seen that coming 5 minutes ago. I certainly didn't. What a fantastically unusual game, and there they go. So Team 2 emerged victorious at 34 minutes on the dot. Almost. We just got to wait for Witty Seal to fall by the wayside. Team 1 busily criticising the way Xerxes played, and Xerxes coming back with, quite rightly, still won, and a win is a win any way you look at it. Witty Seal hanging on for as long as possible, but essentially might as well control K. So yeah, Tempest was under construction. We had a nuke launcher down here. And there really was little or no anti-air in the two bases down here at all. They were wide open to that attack, and I think that's probably because they didn't really expect it to come their way. To all intents and purposes, Earl Grey looked like he was pretty air dominant for almost, well, certainly a good 50% of the game, and we saw at the end, not only were the strap bombers wreaking havoc in those two bases, but also it seemed like Xerxes had a superior number of ASFs engaging Earl Grey's ASFs. We can afford to speed this up now as Team 2 just play with that last remaining commander. Surely got the strap bombers to deal with it. Witty Seal just rolling around and around. You see this stutter I'm getting, guys? Any of you technically proficient guys know what might be the likely cause of that? I've checked processor, I've checked my memory for hardware issues. My computer's pretty cluttered, but it's defragged and all the rest of it. And this is not something I used to get when I sped it up. But yes, I'd get slowdown when it was processing too many things, just like everybody else. Would you look at that? A Billy nuke, or no, a submarine-based nuke there from Envy will finish the game. Overkill indeed. Well, I say that. He might have got out of the blast zone. No, it doesn't quite make it. Off he goes out to the outside edge. Doesn't quite escape the blast. And there we go. There we have it. Victory for Team 2 in what is a very unusual, entertaining game. But yeah, would be very interested to hear your thoughts, guys, on that kind of stutter, because it's definitely got worse. I didn't used to have it at all, and it's irritating me, as I'm sure it must be irritating you, because it impinges and inflicts the harm on the cast, shall we say. Definitely detracts from the viewing experience. But anyway, if you have any ideas, do shoot them over to me and let me know. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you feel so inclined, you can support me on Patreon. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.